Can't wait to get to Krakow, but we're not there yet. We don't even know which teams we're going to see there yet. Welcome back to the European LCS, where just a few matches remain in the summer split. The playoffs are just weeks away, so hit up lolesports.com for more information on how to join us for the finals and the third place match in Krakow, Poland, where we'll send the first of 3 European squads to Worlds. We have OG versus Splyce coming up next, and Splyce obviously and OG are in the race, but Splyce is a bit higher in the standings at this point. They went 14-2 in their last 16 games. Fantastic, fantastic second half of the split for them. They're finding themselves to fight for that top 2 spot versus Fnatic, or possibly lock number 1.
Well, 2-0 in this series would do it if they can lock that first round bye. Of course, they are 4 points clear currently of Fnatic coming into today, so we'll see how the points end up at the end of the series. But for Splyce, they've been looking very good, and not only just on the Rift as well. I like how Splyce have been looking mentally as well. I like the style they're playing. I like a lot of what they've been doing. 1-3-1 has been very crisp for them, and honestly, I think my favorite thing is they've been a lot more reserved. Not always looking for the over-aggressive plays. We've seen a couple, but I feel like Splyce are one of the most refined teams we have here in Europe.
Well, speaking of refinement, Origen seem to be lacking ever so slightly in that department, given that now they are playing mainly for that 7th place spot. They are trying to just avoid the relegation tournament and make their way into that gauntlet setup for themselves to perhaps make that road to Worlds just like C9 did last year. But for Origen in particular, they did last week sub in Peke. I do believe this week he is on the starting roster once again. And Peke, if you compare him to Toaster, mechanically, no, he's not as strong. But what he does seem to bring is an element of leadership and decision-making that they seem to be lacking with Toaster, because when you look back at their game against Giants last week, they just gave Giants everything. They didn't even try to contest any major objectives, but then the moment Peke came in, he was just allowing the team to make more decisions, be a lot more proactive on the map, and that just seemed to be what Origen needed to net that win over Fnatic.
And that was the thing that we discussed a lot when Toaster joined the lineup, was that Toaster is a fantastic pickup for next split. When you look at, like, we need young talent, we can refine, everything is great, and if they have the time to build on that, Origen actually could look to, you know, shake things up and rejig their lineup for next split. But when it comes to right now, as you, I mean, yeah.
I mean, why? I mean, to be honest, if you want to get to Worlds, why would you then go with someone that you're apparently not 100% sure of to make it in those important matches? Because you can't tell me that they don't want to get to Worlds, right?
Well, I'm not saying they don't want to get to Worlds, but what I think it is you're trying to find any solution to multiple problems, right? This isn't just Origen don't have an AD carry they can rely on in all situations. That is not the only problem Origen have right now. The rest of their lineup don't seem to be able to have that same direction without Xpeke, and they need to find both of those at the same time if they want to go to Worlds.
What you have to remember is that when we've seen a lot of Origen's success in the past, it has very much been amazing SOAS, amazing SOAS. Oh, these guys are doing so well. Look at SOAS in the top lane. And that means that when you have this new AD carry on an LCS stage playing against the best players in Europe, Toaster could feel a bit of the pressure. He's not used to playing with hybrid. Perhaps he needs a little bit more support. He needs to get used to what it's like playing in this sort of environment. And when you just look at what results in OG's success, Toaster doesn't have that same kind of support, but Peke doesn't need it because he knows what it's like to get very few resources and still have an impact on the game. And so in terms of how the meta currently works and how the team seems to operate, it just right now seems that they have more success with Peke.
And
We're waiting just a second to get the players into the lobby. Just wanted to.
Yeah, and it gives me a nice moment to talk about a coincidentally apt circumstance we find ourselves in today, because you look at Splyce in last split, they were that kind of player, don't have the experience on stage, don't quite have you know, a lot of the macro play elements where somebody is a strong leader. Now this split, they've had the extra time to adapt. They've really settled themselves in. And that's where a lot of their strengths have come that they did not have last split.
With the introduction of Mickey, that was also a big change that just suddenly changed the entire lineup. So that's really to echo the sentiment that how we've seen this significant swap where Splyce have taken Origen's spot and are now looking to compete to be the best in Europe, whereas Origen are now sitting in that 8th, 9th place spot.
It isn't all doom and gloom for Origen fans. There is a very slight slither of hope. You talked about Cloud9 doing it last year. Almost identical situation for Origen. If they can pull out a 2-0 and continue to get points, there is still the possibility to go through the gauntlet, not for playoffs for Origen, through the gauntlet to Worlds. It's a long shot, but it's still there.
So as an analyst of the European region, would you like to see Origin at Worlds?
No.
No.
And
Not
that's not a personal thing against Origin. I admire what they did in Spring Split, getting up into the finals. I admire what they did last split, but this team is not ready for a World Championships.
Just look at the caliber right now. Top 3 Korean teams look terrifying. Rox and SKT
Yeah, but
looking as terrifying as ever. LPL as well. EDG so far undefeated, I believe, in the LPL league. TSM
Yep,
and Immortals.
and Immortals.
There are so many good teams around the world right now, and I think that Splyce and G2 would represent Europe well. I still have a lot of faith in them, but if we sent Origen as a 3rd team, I feel like that they would just be 3 points for whoever went.
well, it's in their hands now. We'll see what happens. Fnatic is one thing, but Splyce is another. To see if Origin can get to work guarding their gauntlet hopes, let's hand it over to our casters.
Thank you very much, Sharks. And we're back bringing you our second series of the day here in the arena between Splyce and Origen. I think that was a really interesting topic that they were talking about in terms of the international stage. And Finish really said it there. Like, you look at the strongest teams in every region, and maybe Origen are 3 points, as it is right now.
I don't know. Look at the
we've seen
strongest
teams
team
as
in
well.
our region. Like, Origin will just get
True.
murdered by, like, this whole, like,
Yeah.
novella and, like, fairy story of Origin making it back to Worlds. Like, it's very likely not going to happen. And if it is, it means a major downfall for Europe as a region, because this team in its current shape does not deserve to be there. Because if they did, they wouldn't be in 8th place right now.
Maybe they can go full Cloud9. Reverse sweep, the dream. Become a decent team.
Oh,
get
I
to
lied.
Worlds.
9th place, actually.
9th place. even harder. And as the analysts were saying as well on the desk, like, they're really looking to try and get into that 7th place. Either way, we are going to take a look at those lineups now. So starting on the blue side today, Origen have got their work cut out for them, as we've already mentioned. Top lane Soaz, jungle amazing, mid lane Power of Evil, ADC XPK is back, support hybrid, and their coach Aranea.
Yeah, and they're obviously going against a team that want to look like the best team in Europe right now, and they could actually, and that's Splyce. In the top lane, they still have Wunder, jungle is Strashy, mid lane is Senkux, AD carry Kabe, support is Mickey, and then of course Yamada Cannon, as always, will be their coach and camera prop, because he loves the camera.
Just getting consistently better, honestly, across the split. And a lot of quiet players, in my opinion. Like, they don't just jump on social media. They're not just like, look at how amazing I am right now. But over time,
yesterday though,
getting better.
Yesterday, Splyce was watching INT Immortals, and especially Wunder was coming out and saying, like, where's the macro? It's like, this is an RM clown fiesta. Like, these guys don't understand how to distribute their lane. So what I'm expecting today from Splyce is picture-perfect, crisp, on-point lane assignment, because otherwise I might ask myself, you know, hop on Twitter and like, yo, Wunder, where's the macro?
Let's go with the young retweet there.
Yep.
We'll see. Okay, apart from that, let's get into the champion select. Picks and bans. First ban will be Fiora from OG, taking away Wunder's carry there. Karma going to be taken away from OG here as well.
Yeah, Splyce, they, especially after G2's performance today, a 2-0 here would keep them in the running to potentially take G2's first seed spot. It's unlikely, but it's still possible. And more importantly, I don't think the seeding is as important as how they look in playoffs, because Splyce and G2 both kind of towered ahead of the other competition so far in playoffs. But they just want to go in there looking as strong as possible. You know, maybe Splyce is also going to bring some new strategies to the table. They seem rather adaptive. Splyce was one of the few teams that started bringing out some other picks, you know, early adapters. The Malzahar, I think they're not afraid to play any other champions. Like, their support has a wide champion pool too. So let's see if they've prepped anything new this week.
The rest of the bans are coming in here. Malzahar taken off the board. Very
Another
strong
example.
blind pick.
Another example of what Splyce was bringing out rather early here. The fact that Kassadin is banned by Origen is a good indication there.
And Kassadin taken off the board, along with Syndra. Do not want to get randomly hit with a Syndra pick from Power of Evil in the mid lane. We'll just make sure you can't even take that one at all to the table. OG, first pick.
I mean, usually they did Sivir for a while, didn't work. Then they went for Ashe on Xpeke, but that's not necessarily a first pick worthy champion. There's Braum available, but Mickey won't lock it. Both support share Bard, but it's not really a first pick, so you're looking at like what, maybe Comfort Jungler here, maybe an early Karma. Karma's banned actually, so no early Karma.
Yeah.
Comfort Jungler is something you could see, or maybe just a Sivir.
Possibly. Waiting all the way down. 10 seconds remaining here for OG. Definitely giving a lot of thought to this first pick. As you mentioned, Bard. Typically a very bad champion against both of these teams, actually. And yeah, it looks like it will be preferential jungler. Nope. Last minute swap up to Trundle. Okay. Going to be flexed to either Hybrid or Sellers on this one.
Yeah, Trundle. Flex pick here, but slightly leaning towards the top side. Wunder thinking of just reacting with a Gangplank champion he's played quite a few times. That was very vocal about too. And then Trashy is the pick of the litter. There's Elise, Gragas, all available. But he's looking at the Hecarim instead.
Yeah, I liked it in the last series where G2 had a whole lot of time to farm, but I feel like Hecarim is such a volatile pick that can really go either way. Like, it's such a good pick when it gets ahead. You just run over people, and we've seen the damage that it can do, but...
Yeah, I really like it with Shen, actually.
Yeah, you get dropped early. It's rest in peace dreams. It's going to be the swap up to Rek'Sai in the jungle for Trashy, and Shen as well for Wunder.
Really heavy front line here built for Splyce that they can then fill in with more damage on the back end. They will need to find some heavy damage dealers. They can still pivot to a global style, you know, with a lot of split pushes here. Rek'Sai is one of the junglers that can catch side lanes and join the split push as well. Shen is kind of hyper mobile on the map with both teleport and Stand United, but Splyce will need to fill up the damage. Don't do it, Power. No, not again.
Oh man, that series last week was nutty. I remember I was south of Sifa. We went home early as we were getting prepared for the flight, watching EU LCS, watching Power of Evil bring out Gogmore. Saw the Rumble jungle as well from Fnatic. That series was mental. Will be locked. Oh, it's locked as well. Power of Evil. There's the AP Gogmore.
Oh.
Crapo foot.
AP Kog'Maw into Shen Rek'Sai with a counter pick available. Like, right now, I just want to see Bard insta-lock, and you just destroy AP Kog'Maw. It's like, what is this? A low mobility champion that relies on very obvious poke? Well, let me temper his fate.
Your fate is clear. We'll see if we get the lock-in for that one. And Elise as well for the jungle there for Amazing. Will be the choice there for jungle. And what will Splyce respond with? I want to see the Bard as well. I mean, Mickey X great with the pick and great into this situation. It really feels like a no-brainer. They have the top laner, they need a mid lane, and they need an ADC.
Yeah.
Splyce right now.
Wonder what Senkux will run if he's going to pick up his Talia.
Hello.
Ooh.
Tristana pickup in for Kobe. And the
lane
Tam
here.
Kench as well. So, most likely, I mean, that will go bot lane unless he's going to do some janky
Oh,
fake
it's bot lane.
AP
It's
Tam Kench.
support Kench, but I'm wondering where all this Tom Kench love is coming from all of a sudden. Maybe it's like, okay, whenever my top laner gets ultied and is dying too quickly, we can Devour, wait up the Trundle ultimate cooldown, but I don't think that's really great. It is a decent all-in lane, but to pick Tristana and Tom Kench blind, I wonder if we missed, if we're at the result of like an experiment. Usually in scrims you see like teams start playing X, Y counters X, so teams start playing Y, and then teams start playing Z to counter Y. And then you get to the stage where we've not watched the scrims and you're like, why are these teams playing Z into X? Right?
Yeah.
Like this doesn't make sense.
Gotcha.
Because you missed like the whole experiment, right?
It's the whole thing where you introduce one thing into the ecosystem to destroy another, the spider to get rid of the flies. I forget the others, like the horse to, I don't know, I can't remember. Either way, that's going to be a lock-in of Talia as well for Xpeke. OG bringing all the interesting picks to the table, and the Lulu as well.
Right, it's Kog'Maw 80 carry.
Wait.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Spec-X playing 80 carry
Oh,
Kog'Maw.
never
With
did I
Lulu.
think I'd see the day of the flex Cogmore, Crapo, but here we are.
Well, the new W gives attack speed for that % damage on the Kog'Maw, and then Pixie works very well on fast attack. Like, Pixie works really well with the double Biocane Barrage. The problem is, you just get dunked really easy.
Yep, that's a true
Ooh.
statement.
Yeah, I'm just like,
that's
my
pick.
jet-lag brain is running through this comp to see like what the laning power is, like what the true goal is, why.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget, Xpeke's main weakness in this season has been what?
Getting caught out.
Getting caught out.
Let's put him on Cogmore.
Put him on Kog'Maw, boys. There's only one way he's gonna learn. Oh, the
Yeah.
LeBlanc comes out from Senkux too.
Okay. We saw this the other week from Perks as well when he had enough of playing what he says boring champions mid lane. Here comes the LeBlanc. That's to destroy Peke's dreams.
Has to be very hard in mid though, into the Taliyah matchup, because Taliyah can just AFK shove this LeBlanc, poke her out, and I think you just pop your knock-up on clone location, and then you go aggro in the trade, and then if Amazing shows up, like, there's so hard for Senkux to get out of there. So this is a crucial matchup where push is very important early and jungle presence too. This matchup bot though, they need a swap. I think Splyce definitely wants to end up in lane swap here, because otherwise they'll have very rough standard lanes. Ooh, Kog'Maw can destroy 2v2 unless they get all-in, but let's just assume that they're good enough to avoid all-in. Also, Exhaust really good against an all-inning Tristana, because their damage is so telegraphed. And then really strong early trades, usually from jungle too. But Chen should be able to catch that, but still, Splyce won a lane swap.
There's so much going on to this game before we even started. There's the handshake. Aranea, Yamato shaking hands before we get into this game. And for some reason, if you've only just joined us, we had a Taliyah lock-in, Kog'Maw, all sorts of crazy picks. Not even sure how this one's going to pan out, but we're about to find out Crepo. There you can see the full rosters of the players and also their picks as well as we get into game and we prepare as we head onto the loading screen. But as we do so, jump on Twitter, use the hashtags OGWin and hashtag SPYWin. Show your support on Twitter for these two teams. Very important series for both the teams as well in terms of points. OG need this series. They need to try and get into that 7th place spot. Splyce need that 2-0. They'll get them their first round 1 bye in playoffs.
Splyce have drafted Ignite on Mickey, which usually indicates that they are fine with taking standard lanes. Because Exhaust is a super strong spell against the Kog'Maw, because it hits him really hard in the attack speed and in the damage reduction. So an Ignite Tahm Kench here is almost hyper aggressive. That's where you actually just want to Q flash auto in. I actually don't know if you can tongue lash flash, but you want to flash Q at the least. Flash Q auto in and then look for the kind of devour threat on the Kog'Maw and all in. Remember, Tristana right now, you know, with resets on the explosive, trigger can get double jumps in. So there is heavy all in potential, but still it is very bold to play melee with ranged into a double ranged matchup, especially if your AD carry is kind of forced to auto push at times. Tristana has a very hard time manipulating waves, and one way to play around range disadvantage in the bot lane is to manipulate your waves properly, but it's impossible to do that with Tristana, or significantly harder, because explosions, you know, around creeps will auto-control.
Yeah. Well, as you can hear from the crowd, we're about to get into game. Once again, we were just waiting for the players to just fix a couple issues, but we're now into this one. Our second series of the day. It's going to be Origen versus Splyce. Really important series for the teams, really important points to net as we head into playoffs here. Crepo and OG will be heading up the starting blocks. Power V will heading into the jungle as well. We will indeed see if we do get those standard lanes. I certainly want to see what happens here because there's so much to talk about. We're talking about not much diversity in builds, but it's been a while since we've seen AD Kog'Maw, so we could see something completely different come out.
Definitely so. The track of that one goes. Let's look at the wards here. They usually reveal what teams' plans are. Very few engages these days. Incredibly quick Gromp though, if they commit for it. And it does look like Kobe and Mickey want the lane, but if they do Gromp and then path into lane, and they find themselves challenged. Right now, so the counter to this play is for Peke and Hybrid to wait in lane in the second brush, and then just almost like super punish them if they walk in. It's gonna be hard since there will be a Devour available on Mickey. So maybe that's why Peke and Hybrid are just gonna look to stop Gromp instead.
They're waiting in the bush. There's a ward right there, so as soon as they step out...
Yeah, but they're gonna walk up at like 137 to stop the Gromp and then walk back to the lane. That's usually it, because you wanna, if you have like a Karma lane, you can punish them walking back into the lane. Also, they want to scout for potential lane swap right now. You know, at a good cross check here from Hybrid here around the wall. This is the best solution because it's a super quick Gromp on Tristana Tahm Kench lane, and you can't punish if they walk back into the lane. It does yield the push just a little bit, but it's a fine start for this expected lineup. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Power trades, you know, with the W. Laning patterns into any Kog'Maw lane throughout history has been the same. Whenever W is up, he walks up and wants to trade, you back off. Whenever his W is down, that's when you can counter trade and put some pressure on the minions. It's all around, it's all pacing around that W.
Biocane Barrage hurts a lot.
Yeah. Good trade here.
Yeah, there you can see once again. Yes, it reduces damage, but when you have a support like Lulu, who places that on-hit effect, even more damage. We used to see Kog'Maw being paired with Tam Kench a lot, actually, to try and cover that weakness. He's got cooldown on W, you eat him up, spin him back out when he's got the cooldown again, and he carries on firing.
All right. Again, as we talked about, very push-centric matchup here in mid lane. Taliyah gets the early push in and aggressively invades onto Wolves. And that ward, while it seemingly may seem like just one ward, gives so much information here. And again, another super strong trade here by Expeke.
Kobe's trying to put the damage back onto Peck. He's got the explosive charge, big explosion.
Yeah, Beckett traded too long on the back end of that. You should be happy. Against a Twist, you always win in like 1 or 3 autos, but if you go 4, 5, 6, you get diminishing returns on your value because Kobe obviously gets increasingly much more value with that explosive cast. They spotted Rek'Sai, so they know exactly where he is. That was a really good ward. I can't understate this or overstate this enough from Power of Evil. Because a Wolves ward not only tells you exactly where Rek'Sai started, it also tells you where he's going next, and it gives like amazing so much control. Here you can confidently do the Scuttle Crab, then go find Trashy again, and now Origen have complete control over where Trashy is on the map. Trashy, because he saw Amazing below, could actually hand over his blue buff here to LeBlanc, technically.
Maybe Kog'Maw coming back, because on the other stream I just got pinged that Reckless actually picked up in game 1 and won with it.
Yeah, played against Roccat.
Yeah.
And here we see Trashy because Amazing spent time clearing Scuttle Crab, which means he got an experience kind of trough fight there. A little bit of gold, but he lacked experience, which means actually Trashy could just hand over blue buff. And that makes this very pushed-in matchup a lot more bearable here. So I like this adaptation from Splyce here. Playing a non-blue buff dependent jungler enables this LeBlanc into Taliyah, because otherwise he would go out of mana just trying to catch up using spells on CS here.
Had a lot of focus around bot lane, but actually in top lane, Power of Evil looking for the rotation. Amazing ganking from the jungle. Wonder will flash away, but he's cut off. First blood. Amazing finds it.
And this is really kind of atypical for Power of Evil to adopt this style, but this rock surfing passive from Taliyah is incredibly potent if you are allowed to use it as you wish here. Now expect to get aggressed down, so we have to go back later. He had to flash out there. Good aggressive zoning from Mickey. Back into the trade they lose though, but I can't stress this enough because Power of Evil has such an easy push in mid lane. He continuously can roam to the right side ward, walk to the left side, and then collapse. And Wunder was slightly overextended there, so that was a really good 3-man play from Origen. Surprised to see them make that the state of the current team.
We put a lot of focus around those other lanes, but Wunder in this one-on-one with that dropped kill as well, so as TP's back into the top lane. Has that 1 assist. Actually, the kill went over to Amazing, but he's still got that advantage now as he's pushing up. And also looking at that mid lane as well, Power of Evil rotating to the top lane, as you mentioned, rock surfing passive, and just a nice collapse.
Yeah, that's still a mistake from Wunder though. His wave was in a really bad spot and he was trying to fix it, but at that point you just gotta back off and you gotta wait for your jungler. Even if it was just Amazing, Wunder could have technically died there if he just got outplayed.
Yeah.
And now the wave got pushed in and bounced again, so Soaz is putting these waves in very beneficial spots for himself.
Resetting very slightly, Trashy heading into this jungle. Trying to steal away 14 gold actually, not too bad, not too shabby. Faces down the ward as well for information, so Splyce currently know where OG's jungler
Yeah,
is.
and Splyce bot lane played this a lot better. Look at how they're walking back to lane on even CS already, and Expected still has the base here, and they're gonna catch the majority of that wave under Tower 2 since it's a cannon running in here. So despite having some decent early trades here, Kobe is actually going to have a CS lead. He based on a BF timing too, which is incredibly beneficial for Tristana in all-in lanes, because you really want to nail that all-in and 5 auto attacks and then burst the Kog'Maw down. So a really good start for the Splyce bot lane despite having a rough range disadvantageous matchup.
A lot of focus on attack speed as well from Peke, of course, as Kog'Maw will be looking towards Hurricane and all that attack speed. And you get to a point where you literally just can't stutter step, so you just stand still, unleash.
It's worse for you to stutter step, so you just stand still and press R.
Unless your APM is...
Right-click R.
Yeah. Unless you have crazy APM, you're an ex-StarCraft pro.
Yeah.
But I've seen crazy videos.
Yeah, the Koreans.
Yeah. So as in this one-on-one trade in top lane, Wunder will get the Shadow Dash back to tower. Amazing is looking for a potential dive. He has level 5. Of course, Lee's great in these tower dives with Repel. So maybe they can make something happen. So as pushing up, taking away this minion. Wunder may have sniffed it out or not. He's back under the tower. How clean can OG make this? leading with Voltas spiraling, looking for the lockdown on Wonder, where he's surviving for a long time. Snare down onto Soaz. Sencooks comes in as well, gets the kill onto Soaz for a one-on-one trade.
Yeah, one-on-one trade there. They started out early, but obviously they couldn't follow up in that zone from Shen here. Expecting no flash, remember, he's dead.
Flash from Mickey, and the Devour, and the kill from Cobby. Nice setup.
Surprised to see Expecting overextend for that play. Origen now getting his Google from Amazing. Yeah, same mistake here that we've seen before. Expecting getting caught out. Ooh, and now they're going to lose their tower too. So this is map momentum for Splyce. That was a really good reaction in the top lane with that teleport from LeBlanc.
Brief pause here. Maybe this is just an extremely meta play. We know Expecting getting called out a lot. Let's put him on champion, which is useful when it dies. Get some extra damage
Get
out
that
from
passive in there.
Icafian Surprise.
Yeah, too bad Zyra got changed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he could play Zyra 80 carry, get more true damage with a skill shot.
Yeah, I don't think that's the reason. But
I feel like Soaz and Amazing got a little bit surprised there by the teleport from LeBlanc. I feel like they didn't incorporate it in their decision making right there. Sencooks just simply TPing top, making it for a very swift kill trade. Also was a rather uncoordinated dive. Obviously, playing against the Shen sometimes, you know, playing around, you know, the Spirit's Refuge is going to be rough because it's a rather new mechanic. It's still not like incorporated in all your decision-making abilities. That was a good teleport from Sencooks, neutralizing, and then he can go back. They still have Stand United available for some plays. They got more aggression here, so this Tristana is ramping up to a really beneficial power spike. He's going to base with another 1,400 gold after taking out a tower. So Kobe is going to be a main driver for Splyce in this game. And remember, he has to. Splyce is running a 2 damage dealer composition with a triple tank frontline. So if they ever fall behind, they're going to lose the game. They need to snowball super hard. And even if they marginally get ahead, playing into a Kog'Maw Lulu composition, while Soaz can have up to 3 targets for his ultimate, is very hard for Splyce. Like at any point, if LeBlanc misses a combo, she's useless. If Talia one-shots Kobe somehow, the fight is going to be decisively won by Origen.
And there's so many threats on OG as well. Like, Peke can stand there. It's like, oh, well, you got Peke, but now Power V was going to blow you up. Soaz as well, so...
That hair, though.
Yeah, damn.
So,
on game, on point.
That's quite a head of hair. Sencooks.
Yeah, I also saw Soaz as well. His hair was crazy today. I got to step up my game.
Sencooks has been telling me he needs a haircut for like the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think it's spiraling out of control. Not this man, though. Xpacko.
Xpacko, hair, forever on free.
Do you ever wake up wishing you looked like Xpacko?
Yeah, every single day of my life.
I have.
Yeah. Kind of looks like, you know Talia's splash shot where she's like surfing through the rocks? Kind of looks like Sencooks' hair.
Sencooks?
Yeah.
She's got that surfer cut.
Soaz though, what he did today, absolutely crazy. Solid from the
I
rest
feel
of
like
the
we're
board there,
getting
from
we're
OG
getting
as
the
well.
whole walk through the hair game.
Yeah. Very smooth, very
super
smooth
standard
from,
Power Vivo.
from Power Vivo. I like it. Maurice as well.
Yeah, the little
Pretty
curls
solid. Yeah,
on Paul.
I like it. And then the rest of the board, fairly solid. Yeah, Cobb,
getting a group shot there as we close down our hair tendencies.
the Splyce boys in their full glory. But yeah, we are just waiting on what's happening here. We will get information to you as fast as possible. Not even sure where we saw the pause. I think it came in from Splyce, but we'll take a
Couple of
look. We
reconnects.
have a replay just from that last dive, so we can break that one down real quick.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, just in a second. But yeah, as you were talking about, you've got to pay attention to all these things when you're diving a Shen. Amazing opens up here with the Voltas filing.
All right. They do draw aggro early. I feel like the repel comes out a little early from Amazing.
Yeah.
Very early.
I mean, it's full health.
Yeah. I think what happened there was Amazing thought he drew tower aggro, but if you don't deal damage, I think an auto attack actually doesn't trigger tower aggro. So I think it's actually the same, or it used to be even when you damage shields and you wouldn't break the shield, you wouldn't actually get tower aggro. So Amazing was hoping to switch tower aggro with the repel, but I don't think he originally had it.
Yeah.
Because the Twilight Zone, or whatever it's called, on the Spirit Zone, the Spirit's Refuge, you know, the anti-auto attack zone from Shen, basically negated the auto attack, so it was non-existent. So there was no aggro to be drawn from Amazing. So I think it was a repel mistake there. And that gave Sencooks enough time to come in and sweep up the kill.
I like that though. Diving the Shens, the Twilight Zone. We see that a lot, actually. People underestimate Shen. It's just like, once you can get over the Spirit's Refuge and the Taunt as well, because Taunt punishes real hard. If you didn't kill Sven, or Shen rather, during that time, then he's going to taunt you, and you're going to die. And that's exactly what we saw there with Soaz getting punished by Senkooks coming in as well. So definitely something to keep in mind. Apparently, right. Also lagging behind the play.
Splyce taking the macro approach here. Instead of keeping the matchup one and win it harder, they're swapping up the side. Look at it. This is Tristana. A lot of Tristana-focused teams, you know, when she was really big enough for America last year, would do this all the time, you know. Get a favorable trade with a jungle interaction, take down bot lane tower, and then snowball by taking top lane tower right off her and just siege through these turrets. She is a demolisher by nature, and expected behind on a trade. Kog'Maw horrible at towers, you know, because obviously that percent damage doesn't apply, you know, so the increased attack speed is quite useless here. Again, Rift Herald being started, it's going to be handed over to some of these Tonks that can split push. Splyce accelerating the map here.
This will go over, most likely. Oh, Wonder. Right, we're just going to pick it up. Perfect. Bot lane will eventually go down to Peke and Hybrid, only just finishing this one off. So Splyce getting that extra objective on top of that tower.
Yeah, and Splyce basing right now and is going to walk back into the lane, push out, and then isolate the next objective. Because Expect is out of mana, which means Kabe can actually freely walk up, essentially 1v2 if he wants to. Mickey can peel off and use his Sidestone for some river vision if he wants to. And Splyce were hoping to maybe control Dragon here. Origen are moving in early. It's a little bold here with an automatic Kog'Maw though. But Rek'Sai is not close enough.
That will reset very slightly. There we go. First Dragon of the game to Origen will be on their side. 6 minutes until the next one will be Cloud Dragon as well.
Yeah. If this wasn't a Cloud though, I think Splyce would have based before doing Herald, but they were fine yielding and trading Herald onto Shen, which is great for Cloud Bait, because that means he can deal with Soaz a lot easier. You know, extra damage reduction in trades against Trundle is just so useful to have.
Containment system staying in effect.
And I think the next play for Splyce is going to be the push on the bottom from the Tahm-Kench Tristana, and then either light up the enemy red jungle if they feel safe and they see Amazing somewhere on the left side, or they're going to put Kabe and Mickey mid and have LeBlanc split push in the bot lane. Splyce is running a 1-3-1 composition with double teleport, so LeBlanc is going to move to the side lanes later on.
Let's see if that is the play. Kabe still pushing down the bottom lane, and won't be any rotation from OG. They have the jungler on top side, so the push will continue. Trashy also covering in the jungle.
Yeah, 2-man jungle support moving in first with the kind of the leading pressure from the mid laner. Guess what? AD carry pushes up bot. He's going to go mid. Look at the zone pressure on Power of Evil Doll. He's Talia with an immense amount of wave clear, but he is so scared to approach that wave. The zone coming in from the side from Kabe. The wave clear Q from Talia is now used as poke onto Kabe, which means half the tower's health disappears.
He's carrying out the wave from mid lane. Wonder aggressing onto Soaz, has to pop the defensive tower.
Because this is coming. Abyssal Forge comes out, and now Kabe can jump in.
Coming up to the side, knocking him against the wall, in from the ultimate and the taunt. Nowhere for Soaz to go. Nice kill for Splyce.
Yeah, and Kabe trying to hide his ultimate animation in between auto attacks, because usually the play right there for Tristana is obviously to move ahead of Trundle and then come back into the lane, but that is so telegraphed that Soaz will flash out and reset. We saw a cheeky Cocoon there to maybe catch Senkooks to combat the wave clear. Like, there's a lot of little decision making. So that was a very well-timed ultimate from Kabe, because the flash from Soaz could have saved him, but he never saw it coming. He thought Kabe was going to walk further into lane to knock him back.
Once Shield Smith went down, there was no reason for Soaz to flash there.
But this highlights the comments that they were making on social media too about like macro, right? Splyce, they were complaining about INT or more sort of how they were very lackadaisical in their macro approach. Kabe was in the bot lane like a minute ago. So it's push bot, control red side jungle, move mid, push in wave, siege half tower, move up, Abyssal Voyage top. Like, this is a beautiful map move, and they technically still have teleport on the Shen to go bot lane. They have Shen that can port to LeBlanc in case she gets caught. They have Rek'Sai with a network of tunnels to move all over the map, so they have the global, so they need to make use of it, and they are, and that is how Splyce is getting an advantage.
In general, I'm just very impressed with how Splyce have developed as a team. Like, last video was about getting those fundamentals, and now, like, not only do they have the fundamentals on lockdown, they are pushing the boundaries, pushing further, looking stronger and stronger, and making plays like this, which you would look back at Spring Splyce and be like, that was nothing you would ever see from them ever. Zenko's dancing all over the place. Wunder, ultimate on top of him. Soaz locked down, stunned, taunted, nowhere to go. Another kill. Soaz 0-3.
Yeah, and Soaz starting to scratch his head here. He's like, what, guys, what am I supposed to do? Because there is no cross map. Soaz is pushing up top, but he knows if he gets caught, his team is not in a position to take anything. Pekka can't get anything in bot lane. There's not enough pressure in mid here. It's Origen, that was essentially Soaz overextending. Senko still missed both chains. Some really nice jukes, but it wasn't enough. So this is some of the faults that Origen are making, and now they can't make any plays anywhere else on the map because their top laners in the base, and they continuously fall prey to these rotations. And it's so hard to play the map from behind against a team like Splyce because it's unrelenting pressure, a lot of globals, a lot of mobility. If you make one mistake, they will just chain it into pressure over and over and over again. And it's so hard to fight your way out of that one.
And you were saying this game might be hard for Splyce if they fall behind. That's not the not how this game is panning out so far. 2K advances plus that one tower, constantly making these plays, keeping up the pressure as you just mentioned. And Ravel,
but he's poking.
Out of.
Ari was poking instead of just focusing on wave clear. Spek is joining as well. He has the Wits End finish right now, so very early spike build as well that doesn't scale that well. Like Wits End Cogball is like he just hit a spike.
Yeah, I mean he's got his damage now, but that doesn't scale.
Yeah.
You've got the attack speed and the on-hit damage, but it's not scaling on hit damage, so yeah, well, see if they can find a fight in the short term, but I mean, do they even want that? Like, don't they want to go later with this setup?
Oh yeah, Origen definitely want to go later, but I think it's kind of a band-aid to survive until late game.
Okay.
He needs these stats a little bit. He needs some magic resist to survive the assassinations of LeBlanc. I like the lane assignments where LeBlanc is kind of going against Trundle too, because then LeBlanc can technically get the Shen ulti. But while Stan United is down, I think it's best to play LeBlanc against Kog'Maw, because any QRE combo is going to do a lot of damage against Expected, no longer assassinate him because of that Wits End. But there's just so much playmaking potential right now. You know, you can have Shen be delivered on any LeBlanc lane at any point in the game, and it will get a kill. Like, it will get a kill against Soaz, it will get a kill against Expected.
Paraviva just playing the wave clear game currently. I mean, that's what OG have to do. Just stay defensive, not get picked off. Senkox is constantly trying to find those pickoffs though, jump over the wall. He knows that ward's there anyway.
Yeah, but if you pan over to mid, there are so many areas that now have worked ground. Eventually, Talia runs out of wave clear potential. Because that Q operates differently, obviously. It's not the full spam of missiles if you're on work ground already. So there is benefit to continuously pushing into Talia. Eventually, you will hit a breaking point where she can't clear the waves as easily anymore.
OG just cycling through here. Trashy being aggressive, placing down these wards, constantly getting this vision as the Infernal Dragon is now live, so trying to get control over this area. Double TPs up from top lane, but Wunder is definitely getting ahead in this trade. Soaz hasn't used Subjugate just yet. Wunder dancing around it currently. Pillar comes up. Now he's looking for the Orleans. Subjugate used. Following onto Wunder, looking to get underneath this tower. Shield comes up. Wunder will disengage. Trashy has started the Infernal Dragon with Splyce behind him, and this will be uncontested out from OG.
Yeah, and this is a dragon that Splyce definitely want to get. Infernal, much more important than the Cloud that they neglected earlier.
Top lane, Wunder aggressing onto Soaz. Will chase after. Trash is coming in as well. So is Mickey X. Nowhere to run. He's going to try and make it to safety, but Tunglass slows him down. Knocker from Trashy and kill as well to boot. Another pick off onto Soaz. 0-4.
0-4 for Soaz here. Continuously getting caught in, honestly, repetitive manners. Just finding themselves global, you know, whether it's a Shen coming in, whether it's an Abyssal Voyage, whether it's a Rek'Sai Global. Origen is not putting enough pressure on any sides of the map here with their other lanes. And Soaz is the only guy playing aggressive, and you can't. Like, if you as a team are playing passive on too many lanes, you can't overextend there, or you just gotta go for a blue play. And falling prey again. Look at what Soaz is doing here. Look where Expected is, look where Hybrid is. This is a mistake. Like, Soaz might feel frustrated, and fans may be like, oh my god, you know, Soaz, at least he's trying. No, no, no. This is 100% a mistake. You don't walk up at a tower when your support is in your own jungle and your AD carry is catching waves. Like, this is macro 101. You can get away with that stuff in like season 2 or 3, but right now when teams actually have brains, it doesn't work anymore.
And look at Soaz's face as well. You could see how he was feeling after the first couple deaths, but it's just constantly being picked off. There are no cross-map plays. There's nothing that OG are able to do. I forgot how crazy attack speed is from Cogmore. Fun to watch, but in reality, he's not getting anything done onto Splyce currently. Yes, they can set up the artillery machine, but Sencux is looking very strong right now, 2-0-0. He will pop Peke in an instant. So we may never even see that full damage come into fruition. Top lane, Soaz looking to take down this tower up against Wunder, but he is just falling further and further behind. Here comes the disengage, but this might be the 5th death for Soaz. There is nothing to do, and I've seen this one before, Crepo. Kobe now coming in for the action. Give me that assist. I'm very happy to pad out my fancy point. Maybe Soaz gets away from this one. Pillar comes up to try and buy some time, but Senkuk says no to that dream. He'll finish him off. Maybe it will take an extra little bit, but a lot of resources burned for that one. OG now trying to react. Incon Power Vivo with the wall coming out there, but he's just a little too late to the party. That was a kill onto Mickey X, so it is 4 versus 4. Splycer pushing down into enemy territory, but OG don't want the fight.
Yeah, the whole zoning aspect of that wall is necessary to keep Peke alive, but if he falls, the point of the composition kind of goes out of the window there. Power Vivo was actually blocking off his team more than doing any benefit with that wall. And then guess what? Another turret just simply disappears because Tristana, with this item spike, is incredibly potent at destroying these towers.
Here comes Wunder's ultimate onto Mickey X, trying to chase down Peke. That was a good Voidoo's, slowing both of them down. He's trying to walk, trying to waddle away. He managed to make it happen. Power of Evil finding Senkux, meanwhile, has used Distortion already. And the flash looking to juke. That's the clone. Senkux makes it into the bush. He'll Distortion away once again and completely dukes OG.
Yeah, run Senkux, run. He gets out of there. Peke satisfying Pogma wave clear right now. But Origen trailing, 3,000 gold behind here. Again, Soaz going for the aggressive turret here. We have Talia in the bot lane, but there's a teleport on LeBlanc, and there is no teleport on the Talia. So that's another mistake here from Origen as a team to go for that play. When exactly does the teleport come in here? Mickey goes low. Quite juke. That's actually a very late teleport from Senkux, and honestly a really bad location too. Could have been a lot quicker. He was afraid of getting cancelled by Talia, that's why he passed it so far and took a long walk, and that's actually how, ironically, Power Vila gets here eventually with Talia. But from a macro point of view, that was, again, Origen trying to do too much on the top lane. Forcing when... If you want to go for that play, you send Talia top from base, and you just brute force. Brute force 5v4, and you surprise. It does not seem that Origen is on the same page when it comes to pushing.
Absolutely not. At least Soaz is not on the same page. 0-5-2. Cannot restate that enough in this game. Being left on that island, and Splyce punishing so hard. They are ahead in this game in terms of gold, towers, even that one-to-one dragon, but they have that Infernal better at fighting. OG looking for this mid lane tower though, and Splyce let that one fall. They have Senkuk splitting off in the side lane, Wunder as well. They committed 5 people from Origen for that play, and Splyce will be able to get these side waves pushing. Now that OG back off, Splyce will now return.
Yeah, Splyce settling in again in their 1-3-1. Let's reiterate, there is one teleport available, none on Senkux, so that's why he's actually just pushing side lane and grouping, because he can't join in time. Wunder obviously has 2 ways to get in there. Peke gets poked here, Kobe.
Ooh, jumping in there very aggressively, jumping off to the side, skirting around the threat range from OG.
Yeah, that's a play that Kobe from Spring would have never made. This guy has been kind of unlocked by Mickey joining, and he's hyper aggressive on this. Tristana knows that he can always get out. Obviously has a security blanket. That is the Shen ultimate. Splyce right now looking to put pressure on the map, you know, with their divide and conquer approach, using their teleports. There's 20 seconds left for this Ocean Dragon. That's next objective for Splyce.
Senkuk's constantly looking for these pickups onto Peke, immobile or low mobility ADC here.
There's no vision for Origen, which means they can't contest. They're too slow on the play to kind of rotate top. Look at Wunder already. He's going to base and he's going to catch top wave. That's what he's doing here. The objective has been solidified. He can join whenever he wants. He can match teleports. Origen have no positional advantage. They can't trade for mid tier 1 because that one's already down. So it's pretty much a free objective here.
That's the Ocean over to Splyce. We have our 3 dragons locked in for this one. We'll not have a mountain dragon this game.
Yeah, and Splyce, they can defend here quite easily because they have the Shen ultimate. Right now, Origen looking for a cheeky rotation onto the Shen. Wunder trying to keep that lane parked outside of turret range.
So that's still pushing up the top lane. Splyce are rotating in from the jungle. OG are here to cover his escape. Man, he flashed away from Wunder, actually.
Yeah. Splyce is not afraid to defend the weak areas. They're not trading map at all. They're just forcing Origen out every single time. And then setting up their lanes again. Right now, Wunder is slightly overextended, though. He would likely have to flash
Wow, he went very deep,
He's
but he's
dead.
caught by the cocoon. He's just straight up dead. He's running away, flashes out. Actually, getting tagged by the living artillery. Nope, Amazing finds him.
There's too much chase with Repel, another flash on Amazing, and a couple of R's on Expectate. He was overextended because, again, now in this case, there was no cross map for Splyce. They had no push on bot or mid, so then essentially it is really dangerous for him to push out on the top side.
OG now backing off. And pretty good win for them, honestly.
This is if this was any later in the game, Origen may just brute force Baron here.
Yeah.
Because Kog'Maw with Lulu on a Baron will take it down incredibly quick.
Yeah, very, very quickly. But only 24 minutes in, playing a little cautious. Quicksilver Sash actually picked up for Peke there as well, so delaying the damage, but just trying to stay alive. Extra magic resist as well to make sure he doesn't get instantly popped out there from Senkuk. So 2 magic resist items now for him.
Yeah, it's also just like you can get out of Taunt. You know, Taunt Flash, immediate killer from Expectate. All he needs to do is stay alive because he gets damage steroids from his Lulu. There's more attack speed coming from the Ardent Sensor. The W from Lulu now is way better for champions like Kog'Maw. He gets additional health from the ultimate. You know, health picks will significantly boost his damage output too. It is basically Operation Expectate will carry us to Worlds. That's what's happening here for Origen. So they need to keep him alive in fights at whatever cost.
I mean, you talked about the Wit's End being a band-aid, but as I was saying on the analyst desk as well, like Peke rejoining the roster, is that a band-aid? Because Toaster may be better in the long run, but you've got to micromanage him in the short term, which is not what the team needs right now when they're trying to clinch that 7th place.
And it's getting harder for Splyce right now to find these picks. The gold gap has not widened at all. 1.6k, despite Soaz being behind, he's still a very prevalent split pusher. That's why let's not forget what they're playing for in this game. Because Fnatic went 1-1 in their series. Splyce need to win just one game to clinch their playoff bye, to get 2nd spot here in the European LCS, which is honestly unheard of. Super big surprise, but recently, Splyce in their last 16 matches, the analyst has pointed it out, are 14-2. That is absolutely bonkers insane. A super impressive score.
Senkuk's got the ultimate on top of him, trying to chase down Soaz. He's so close to his base, but not sure if he's going to get there. Chase down with the leash, pinned in place, kill for Wunder, Twilight Assault. And Amazing coming down as well, just trying to get through the base into his base gate. There's another gift. And Splyce will head onto this tower. Charlotte Dash doesn't quite connect. Repel comes up and will jump onto Wunder, but he's trying to get away. Shut down in for Senkuk's. Spider gets deleted. Meanwhile, Power View will try to push Wunder outside of the base. Meanwhile, Peke finding Mickey X has to flash away from the artillery cannon, but Splyce just opened up the base. They've breached OG's top lane inhibitor tower. Now they're onto the inhibitor itself, and OG are completely split. Peke looking to be chased down. Senkuk has found him, knocked up in the air. He's dead. Hybrid, no more supporting coming out from him. 2 more kills.
Peke fails QSS. That was horrible. Great play by Splyce here, but Origen, they're falling apart at the seams. Soaz gets picked off in another unique fashion. Guess what? Nope, it was the same thing again. 6 deaths in a row. I have to give mad props to Splyce the way they position around that play. Usually when you see like a LeBlanc Chen play like that, they get a kill and then they both find themselves overextend and die. But look at don't look at the play right now, but look at what the Splyce team is doing. Like they're aggressively moving into the Baron area, and then the Rex side, Tristana, Tom Gensh are going to join from the left side eventually this entire play that's going on, you know, so they're not defending mid. They know that they just need to keep the Lulu Kog'Maw at bay and that the fight's even number. And like Power View, he's like in the middle of nowhere. Like, this is my main gripe and issue with Origen. Their top lane is under siege, Soaz is getting picked off, and their mid laner is at red buff. Like, they need to start brute forcing stuff, because Expectate, he can deal a lot of damage, but then he finds himself overextended. He's gonna follow up this with, I think, an unfortunate QSS usage. Let's see if he actually gets out of something, but I feel like he used it too early. That's one chain. Yeah, too early.
Yeah.
Just QSS is too early and then dies.
It started to look good for OG. They had the Weaver's Wall, they split up the aggressing Splyce, but then from there, yeah, just some missteps in terms of mechanics, the QSS, of course.
I mean, Soaz was dead.
I mean, that also, yeah.
That also doesn't help that your top laner's in the grave, you know?
Yeah. And losing in inhib as well, 28 minutes. Baron is still open. And I mean, OG still have a very fast Baron take. And there is Wunder on the bottom side, has TP. Trashy as well with the Void Rush.
Oh,
But
that's gone.
yeah, I mean, it's just dead. Like, there's a ward on there from Splyce, but it's dropping so fast.
Actually, by Origen Barrage failed, which means they run out of damage. It's not gone.
Zencook's Wunder and Mickey looking for the punish. Power of Evil joins the fight, but he's put Soaz on the opposite side of the wall. But also Wunder, they find him. Mickey X trying to get away. He's being chased down into Grey Health, not enough to keep him alive. Dual kill for Peke.
And by Origen Barrage was back. We talked about this before. You need to play around the cadence of that W from Kog'Maw. Every time he has it, you have to be afraid. When it's down, he's a sitting duck and you can go in here. Peke holding it right now. Hybrid slow. Reset for
On the
Kog'Maw.
side, Power of Evil dropping low. He'll be falling. 2 fast kills over to Splyce. OG looking to follow after Zencook's now. He jumps in. Shutdown for Peke. They find another shutdown onto Peke now. Amazing. This is such a scrappy fight. Soaz, flash, that's a kill. A triple kill for Trashy. Amazing gets out alive. Both junglers, the last men standing.
Yeah, jungler, mano a mano. But Amazing has to run because his base is dying. What a fight there. Brute Force Baron starts. I like them when from behind because I think they're the only way you can force fights. But you need to save your W if you're expecting it. You can't afford to use it on the Baron unless it's a closing 3 of 4,000 HP because it decides the fights. Look at it. W is out here. Expect it has to run. But the second Wunder gets shut up, W comes up again and Wunder just drops in an instant. But then the back end of the fight, W's down again and the damage kind of starts slowing down. And keep your eyes on Kobe. He's eventually going to join this fight. I want to see if Expected uses W. It's really hard to see in this extended replay. Yeah, there it is. I think he uses W right there. And the second it goes down, you know, this explosion from Kobe kills Power of Evil too. Like Hybrid, yeah, he just killed his mid laner there. That's rather unfortunate. Kobe does so much damage in this fight.
Yeah, nice cocoon from Amazing there. Basically just soloing down Kobe behind Trashy. And then Trashy with the triple kill, mopping up these kills at the tank untouched. Queen's Wrath finishes off a couple. And after all that, there was a 4-for-4 trade. Baron doesn't go down. I think we just had Dragon off the back end of that, so that was going into Splyce. Yeah, another Infernal. Which will help them in these team fights. But props to OG, that was a really nice start on that Baron and opening it up. And then, okay, it started to slip. Oh, 6,200 damage from Peke.
Yeah, if you reach the Baron, you gotta be happy with Splyce. You can't chase the Kog'Maw. You just need to zerg him.
Yeah.
You need to kill him super quickly because you can't allow him to get resets on or second W's in fights.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, really, in a nutshell, playing against Kog'Maw. You finish him off in the initial start of the fight, otherwise he just rips your entire team apart, and that's Kog'Maw.
But Bork available now too, you know, a more % damage here.
Oh, Hybrid. Caught out by Zencook's. Trashy slowed down by the Voidoos. Chunked down to half. Power of Evil. Weaver's
Power?
Wall. Power, you okay? Double kill for Zencook's. Literally just delivered himself on a ice wall platter.
Altruistic approach here from Power of Evil. If you can't make it to playoffs, might as well solve world hunger.
Oh, Grappo. Man, Splyce will take those 2 kills. Inhibitor mid-tower, Inhibitor itself. OG cannot afford to lose more. Peke goes down. Arcafian Surprise not going to be able to hold. Soaz dead as well. And after such a stellar defense, and OG looking like they could come back into this game, make multiple crucial errors. And Splyce are looking to finish 2 inhibitors down. Amazing, the only one left alive along with Hybrid to try and survive. Senkos jumps in. Styles on Hybrid for the kill. And that will be the inhibitor. The inhibitors, the Nexus turrets, everything. Power of Evil back alive trying to defend, but it's not going to happen. And Splyce, they clinch their playoff bye.
And now Yamato can be happy. This is where you can actually nod at the camera. He's playing it cool, but Splyce have secured exactly what they came here for today. Second place. The rest of the games matter in terms of potentially catching up to G2 Esports.
Yeah.
Clean 2-0 is still needed, but they have room for experimentation because that means, you know, not playing in quarterfinals, straight to the semis, which means they go to Krakow. Like this, it just means so much for this Splyce roster.
Really impressive. Good punishes, really well played. Like across the board, you look at them individually as well, and they are all making solid plays individually. Like Cobby, you can highlight the plays from that game, like jumping in and landing a lot of damage that, like, as you mentioned, it was like halfway through the game, something that we wouldn't see from a Spring Cobby, skirting around OG, getting extra damage in, and just really playing well. I am still disappointed in OG though. Like,
Yeah.
they made good plays, but then fumbled.
It's just the macro is gone. A team that was just so smart at their understanding, and this goes all the way back to like season 3, where the players like Soaz and Expeke on the regular tore me a new one with split push. Like they just taught me the map, like every corner of it. Like we try to like group and defend, and they understood the game so well in terms of lane assignments and split pushing, and the innovation, it's all gone. It's no longer there, and Splyce is just reading them like a book, continuously punishing them, and yeah, it makes it a little bit sad.
Sad to see. But after that Game 1 win, we are going to send it over to the analyst desk to take a look at the game.
A bit sad for OG, but my analysts were singing the praises of Splyce, particularly on their macro game. As you said, there were a couple of tweets yesterday from Imato, I believe, about TSM and IMT's macro game, and how Splyce played it.
They were very vocal about how in the game yesterday between TSM and Immortals as to how it was very scrappy. There wasn't much use of playing around the map. And today they really had to back that up. And in fairness, they did a great job of it because they were playing around the map very well. They were punishing the oversteps of Soaz regularly. I believe at the end of the game, he had something like 7, 8 deaths. And it was just very impressive the way in which they were always managing their sideways, always looking to force proactive plays in a scenario in which Origen could not punish them. And it was just very nice to see overall.
Looking back at the very beginning of the game, though, Origen did catch them unawares on the first roam. Level 4 Talia goes up top. You don't really expect that to happen. So I still like what Origen were trying to do at the very early part of the game. But I believe it was amazing. Took that first kill. And then they went for that top lane play where they ended up trading 1-for-1 after. And from there, that was when Soaz, as you said, just couldn't seem to find his footing, was overextending too much, and ended up getting caught out. And I mean, the amount of kills just the side laners had for Splyce by the end of this game just told the entire story.
Yeah, you mentioned the moving around the map, and especially Mickey X and his Tahm Kench ult. We've seen a lot of Tahm Kenches today. We're probably going to find out later why that is. It might have to do the scrims, but you said that this was kind of the best use you saw of that ultimate so far today.
I was just really impressed with how often Mickey was just gobbling up one of his teammates, bringing them to the side lane and just consistently punishing Soaz. Yes, it was a big overextension of Soaz and he shouldn't have been making these sort of positional mistakes, but the fact that Mickey was always looking for opportunities like this to just be with his team and take advantage of these globals with the Rek'Sai in particular was just very impressive to see, and I look forward to seeing more of it in the future.
Can give a little context on why we're seeing it a lot more. Specifically in this scenario, with the Tristana, it gives you great protection on what ends up being quite a snowbally champion when you get the multiple resets. He was also changed in recent patches, ends up having a little more damage, lower cooldown, a little faster time to appear in fights. So a few trims and tweaks overall on his kit allows him to be a very viable top laner and support. Just depends on what your composition wants.
Nice play from Mickey X. Our player of the game, though, in this one is Senkux on his beloved LeBlanc up against Power of Evil's Talia, and making a lot of nice moves around the map, and nice work with that assassin.
He was a big part of how they were able to take out OG, because remember that when you're playing this assassin, your role in a protect the AD carry comp is kill the AD carry. And if you screw up one of your abilities, if you miss it, if you aren't able to focus down that key target, then you effectively have no value in these fights. And so the fact that Senkux was consistently applying pressure onto those key targets was a large reason as to why they were able to come out ahead.
And this composition that they were playing up against from Origen wasn't particularly a standard protection composition for the Kog'Maw. You had the Lulu there from support. Talia doesn't offer too much in that scenario.
Well, he did put a massive wall up and say, hey, you stay over there, Peke.
Yeah,
we don't want you to get involved in the fight.
That's
a little overprotective, perhaps.
But I think this highlights some of the issues of Kog'Maw right now, and why perhaps, he can seem so strong, but not in all scenarios, because if you don't win the rest of the map, or at least go even, the time that it takes for Kog'Maw to basically solo carry, or with only one utility champion, is so late into the game that the LeBlanc's like 7-1 and you've already lost the game. You've lost an inhib. Sure, you can turn around a Baron fight, but if it ends up that only the junglers are alive, still that inhib's doing the work.
Yeah, the late game strategies from OG we have seen in the past, but to put Peke on a Kog'Maw is just a complete riddle to me.
He did do some good plays,
definitely.
but then the fact that they lost the game by just Hybrid getting caught out in their own jungle, to then have Power People walk into Splyce and then die as well was just a little bit shocking, because I felt like there was plenty of room for them to come back.
Yeah.
But OG just seemed to be the opposite of Splyce. We said it at the very start, where Splyce have now become this very macro-heavy, really understand the game, and Origen just don't seem to know what they're doing, and they're getting regularly caught out. And while there were glimmers of hope, and there was a good play overall from Splyce, OG made it especially easy for them by just giving them all of these options.
Yeah, definitely. For the standings, though, this means that Splyce has now locked the bye, as we heard from the casters as well, still in the race. Also, for getting that first place over G2. And for OG, nothing changes so far. They can still get that 7th place, but they have to win their next game. So it's all on the board for them. We'll see if they can.
Lots of interesting races. We still got, of course, Unicorns and HUK later on in the day as well. Everything's going on. I've seen another Cogmore. There's a Tarek on the other stream. Like, crazy stuff happening today. Everyone's a little crazy, delirious. It's all good.
Yeah, a little crazy over in the LCS studio, because Roccat evened up the series against Fnatic. So Warlip was subbed in, but in the end, Roccat took it 1-1 on the day. And the early game is underway there for Schalke versus Giants. So head over to LCS 2. Not the early game, actually. They're just out of picks and bans. So yeah, that would be the early game at the beginning of the game. So you can check that out if you would like to. That is over on LCS 2. Now with the summer playoff bracket filling up, a reminder that tickets for the quarter and semifinals are now on sale for here in Berlin. For more info on how to join us as the fight for Krakow continues, load up lolesports.com and check that out. Now we're going to recall to spend our gold, but when we come back, we'll have the second game between Splyce and Origen. See you in 3.5.
Our second series of the day is going to be Origen versus Splyce. Amazing ganking from the jungle. Wonder will flash away, but he's cut off. First blood. Amazing finds it. Power of Evil joins the fight, but he's put Soaz on the opposite side of the wall. But also Wonder, they find him. Mickey X trying to get away. He's being chased down into Grey Health. Not enough to keep him alive. Dual kill for Peke. Shut down for Peke. They find another shutdown onto Peke now. Amazing. This is such a scrappy fight. Soaz, flash, that's a kill. A triple kill for Trashy.
Oh, Hybrid.
Caught out by Sankooks. Trashy slowed down by the Voidoos. Chunked down to half. Power of Evil. Reaper's Wall. Power, you okay? Double kill for Sankooks. Splyce, they clinch their playoff bye.